Today we're going to talk about predictions. As you know, when you make a prediction, you make an educated guess about what's going to happen next. But the next thing you have to learn is that when you make a prediction, you can't just guess anything you want. You have to base the prediction on either something you see in the text, some clue, or some background knowledge. For example, I see a lightning bolt hitting this tree. I can predict that it's probably going to catch on fire and potentially fall over because lightning is super hot. So the big point is that when you make a prediction, you have to support your prediction with evidence or proof, and that evidence can come to you from two places: from the text, the actual book you're reading, or from your background knowledge, what you already know about the topic. For example, in that last video, I had some background knowledge about lightning. I know that lightning, when it hits trees, heats the trees up and has a tendency to light them on fire. Okay, so let's take that idea and let's apply it now in the first section of Hot and Cold Summer, the story we've been reading this week. I'm going to read it aloud and then I'm going to talk to you about both the clues in the text and also my background knowledge. Best friends Rory and Derek have summer plans that don't include a surprise visitor, a girl named Bolivia. The boys make a pact, or a promise, not to speak to Bolivia, but soon find her hard to avoid. Derek and Bolivia become friends, but Rory stubbornly tries to stay away from her. Derek goes away to summer camp, leaving Rory and Bolivia behind. The two become friends, even after Rory mistakenly lets Bolivia's pet parrot, Lucette, out of her cage, and breaks 2 toes trying to catch her. Now Derek is returning from camp. Will the three of them be able to stay friends? Okay, so first let's talk about my background knowledge. I know from the beginning that Rory and Derek are best friends. Then I see that there's a new potential friend around, this gal named Bolivia. I see that they make a promise not to speak to Bolivia, but then Derek and Bolivia actually become friends, while Rory tries to stay away from her. Then while Derek goes away to summer camp, Rory and Bolivia become friends. And now at the end, Derek is returning, and we're not sure what's going to happen. So my background knowledge tells me one thing. It's normally, in my experience, when you have two people who are close friends, and then one of them becomes friends with a new friend, sometimes that leads to problems. And sometimes the original friends end up not being friends anymore. So my background knowledge tells me that this might not end well for Rory and Derek. But then there are some clues in the story that maybe suggest that that might not actually be the truth. For example, it says that Derek and Bolivia become friends first, actually, and that Rory and Bolivia only become friends after Derek goes away to camp. So the text suggests to me that maybe they'll be okay when Derek comes back, and maybe they'll all be able to become friends, the three of them. So my first prediction, I think I'm going to go with my background knowledge here, and I'm going to say that I think that there's going to be a problem with Rory and Derek's relationship when Derek comes back from camp. And then I'll have to check later on and see if I was right or if I should have taken the textual clues into account.